Welcome to our new series, The 200 Movie Challenge. Our goal this year is to watch 200 movies that we haven't seen yet. If you want to listen to the full podcast where this clip is from, the link will be in the description. Now enjoy today's movie.
So let me talk about the first movie that I saw this week. And it actually was a sequel. And about 4 to 5 episodes ago, I saw the movie M3GAN. We talked about it. We talked about how AI was taking over, blah, blah, blah. And so obviously when I saw this on Peacock, I saw M3GAN 2.0. So when I reviewed the first M3GAN, I even said, I'm like, hey, this is a good thriller. And I knew there was a cigar. I said, M3GAN could have ended and everyone would find there's no questions. There was no need for a sequel. They're like, well, just in case.
Yeah.
Obviously there's things that they threw in, but the way it ended, it's like, okay, this can be fine. But I knew there was a 2.0. And I looked at Jill and I'm just like, do you have any interest in seeing the second one? Because she was a little disappointed in the first one because first M3GAN was listed kind of as a horror. It was listed as a horror. So I think we were expecting more of a thriller, which I still enjoyed it. But yeah, it was more of a thriller than a horror. So I'm going to say something, Soda. Now, first of all, as I say this, do realize I am not comparing or saying these are as good to the comparisons, but the way M3GAN went from the first movie to 2.0 is kind of the same thing that happened when Terminator went from the first Terminator to T2 Judgment Day. And I say that because remember
that is a loaded statement.
But but think about this. Let's talk about the first Terminator. And I'm going to, because if you really look at the first Terminator, a lot of people, there's people that actually say that's kind of a horror movie, a horror thriller, because you got something that's hunting. So, but that's the way M3GAN was a little bit. Just didn't do it as well. But that's the way M3GAN was kind of portrayed. AI taking M3GAN 2.0. It's like, fuck the thriller, fuck all this shit. Let's just make this an all-out, campy, fun action film. Now, again, kind of like what Terminator 2, they're like, let's just have fun. And also because now the robot's kind of siding with the main person. So let me backtrack a little bit and kind of just give
I'm going to go back to that comment you made. I'm going to save it in my mind about how they just had fun in Terminator 2, but I'll save that for
but it's, we had fun. We had fun watching an action film because that's all action films are. Like, you don't take them seriously. You just enjoy the moment. Don't think about the story too much, but you know what I mean? Because the first one was intense. It was like, holy shit. And then the second one, explosions. Soto, I know you love explosions. I know you. T2's great, but anyhow. So real quick,
triggering me. I want to get into a debate so bad right now, but I have to stay on topic. But Saturday, we'll talk.
Wait. So hold on, no. What's the screw it? What's the quick debate? What's the thought?
Well, because I get the analogy that you're trying to make with M3GAN and then M3GAN 2.0. Fine, that's great. But Terminator 2 is one of the greatest movies ever made.
Correct.
And you're making it sound like it's just an action movie. And I'm like, whoa. Terminator 2 is not just an action movie. That shit's serious.
Okay, but is it a horror? Like the first one? Is it a horror thriller?
No.
Exactly.
I will tell you that I did get nightmares when Sarah Connor fucking dreamt that she was getting blown up by a nuclear bomb. Shit was fucking scary. She turned into bones and shit. You're right. It's not horror, but there were horrific elements about it. But from a tonality shift, you're 100% spot on. Like, yeah, Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 are 100% both different kinds of movies.
So, in the first one, what they kind of quickly show is like the boss's assistant who gets sick of everyone. He sells the plans. And then everyone dies. M3GAN, not everyone dies, but like all these people, M3GAN goes off the wall. She dies. They kill her. Blah blah blah. So the second one now, the main woman, Gemma, who created M3GAN, the first one. It's kind of, I think this is like a few years later. And she's now still doing the technology thing, but just more promoting the fact it needs to be safe for children. Well, it's monitored, almost like a 180 change. And so, great. Now, all of a sudden, the government, though, has their own robot called Amelia, which they based on M3GAN. They're the ones that got the plans. So now you have this government-controlled who has gone AWOL, who's doing her own shit. Because she was supposed to basically kidnap the scientist, and she ended up just shooting him dead on and taking everything in there. So they're like, oh shit. And they think this woman, because she created M3GAN, was part of it. She's like, I don't even know what the fuck's going on. Now, story reasons, there's kind of like from Terminator 2, they're like, oh, how convenient this is. M3GAN did upload herself into like the computer system where she's living, and slowly she realizes she has to kind of rebuild M3GAN to catch Amelia. But now M3GAN's kind of just more friends with them, kind of is doing quirky jokes, not like the hasta la vista baby, but just kind of joking with them and stuff like that. But dude, it's just so fucking fun. Like the first scene. Now this is, I think this is R. I know we watched the unrated version. Like she's, before she kind of, the tonality kind of gets settled down because, she has the no killing humans. What does that sound like? Mm-hmm. She punches a guy's head clean off. And I'm just laughing. I'm like, holy shit. So yes, this is, I'm not saying, again, I'm not comparing M3GAN. This is not as great. Terminator 2 is fucking awesome. But my point is now that you got the robot that's got to work with, the people that they were basically terrorizing in the first one because there's a bigger threat. But I will just say, if you want a fun action movie, you don't even need to see the first one. This was just, I just enjoyed it. The story's just there. You're not there for the plot. You're just there just to go for the ride. But yeah, I don't know what more I can say. I don't want to, because it's basically the steps she takes, because she has to earn the human's trust or Gemma's trust, because she's in this little like doll toy thing, and she's like, is this really what we're doing? But it slowly, plays up, and yeah, so she's, basically got to save the world, and she's like, I'm not doing this to protect the niece, which was her incentive in the first one. She's like, I'm doing this because this is right, just right. So again, she's learning. Now, I think there is a spin-off, and I don't know what it's about, because there's nothing from this movie called Soulmate, which that's in the M3GAN universe, but there's nothing here, so I don't know much about
M3GAN universe.
Well, no, because I don't know what else to call it, because it's not a M3GAN movie, right. but no character, so I don't know what it's based on. It's something. So, and they did leave it wide open. There could be a third one, not that there needs to be, but fuck it, they probably will do it because it's making money and stuff like that.
Money, yeah.
That's the most important thing. But where the first one, going back to the fact that it was more of a thriller, and it more dealt with the fact that what we allow technology to do with our lives, to help run our lives. And the whole thing was watching children, because that's why M3GAN was built. She was paired with her niece because her niece just lost, her parents, and kind of like, I hate to say glorified babysitter, but the fact that, she knows like, hey, don't let any, physical harm come to her, or, verbal harm. And that's how she takes those incentives and goes way above and beyond, to the point where she's thinking the aunt, she's like, you're not qualified to take care of her. I'm going to be like the new mom. And that's where it's scary in the first one, because you're like, well, I can kind of see this fucking happening. Like we're letting AI take over.
Yeah.
Whereas this, like, okay, nope, this is not the same. They're trying to, nuclear weapons, this and that, and it's just. But for an action film, Soto, this is fun. This is the definition of a popcorn flick. I'm not saying this is the best thing I've watched. This is not as good as, I like thrillers. I like suspense. Those are my type of movie. So yes, I did enjoy the first one more, but the second one, I'm like, because me and Jill had the same question. Like, what are they going to do now? And that's why we're like, well, we're both curious. I'm like, fuck it. Let's just watch it. Because again, I said it, first one ended. If there was never anything more, it would have been fine. It wouldn't have been like, no one's going to debate the ending of M3GAN. They're like, oh, fuck, the robot died. The aunt and the niece have kind of come to an understanding, and that's about it. Life goes on. The world understands technology. Keep it under control. But the fact that
we're not learning.
No, they're not. Well, no, the government created this kick-ass other one. So, yeah.
Oh my god!
But again, like I said, just the change in tone was just hilarious to me. But the action scenes were just fun, and like I said, there is a lot of similarities to Terminator 2. Again, her being told, basically programmed not to kill any humans, unless absolutely necessary. Like if blah blah blah. It's just the same thing as the T-800. But anyhow, where do I rank the Soto? Now I will say this: anyone that's on the
fun,
you don't need to see the first one to see the second one. I mean, it helps a little bit, but if you want more of an action movie instead of a thriller, just skip to number 2. If you want something that's more of a thriller, see the first one and see the unrated versions. I don't know. I always prefer the unrated movies to regular movies. They just give me the extra blood. Sorry, I'm scrolling through my list here. I'm more on the top, but not that far up. All right. I'm going to put this. All right. I just reworked my 20s last week, so this feels right now. I'm putting this at 26. It's going to be right underneath Thunderbolts and right above Wreck. And I think the first M3GAN is number 15 for me, so I'm just kind of scrolling up to see where that's at. That's kind of where I'm feeling. Again, because it's a fun movie, and I think it's enjoyable and not a lot of story. Just if you just want a fun action movie on a Saturday night, check this out. You're not going to get scared. You're going to laugh. Yeah, that's all I got to say. There's not. Well, no, the first one, you look at it, you're like, well, this shit could happen. We give way too much control to AI. ChatGPT runs a lot of lives. More AI videos are coming up, and you're just like, how? I know I shared one with you, like Macho Man being Mr. Rogers, which is just hilarious. I had to share it. But I'm just like,
dude, there's so many. It's like it's insane what you can do with like this Sora shit now. Like I saw stuff where like Stephen Hawking was going off the top rope and
yes, with Helen Keller
on WWE. Yeah, and I'm like, what have we become? We are not learning our lessons, people. The machines are coming for us. We've seen so many fucking movies where the machines are coming for us, and we're like, what would be really great if we made that shit real.
That's what we're doing.
Like, we should. That's a great idea. Oh, Terminator 2, Skynet takes over. Okay, are you taking notes? That's a great idea. Let's do this.
Oh my god.
Dude, you know what, our robot overlords, I welcome you with open arms.
Robots, aliens, we just don't want to work anymore. Just let us live in our homes for free. Do what you gotta do.
Like be pets.
Just
we'll be your pets. You can watch us, and just make sure that we're fed and our toilet works when it needs to and all that. Take us to the vet and stuff. I'm ready for it.